Welcome to Innovation Dialogue. I'm Diana Ding. Today with us is Christian Pellecchia. He's running for Santa Clara City Council. He's a vice president of operation at Slater Construction. He's also the former president and CEO and chair of the board of Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce. We've been on the Silicon Valley Central Chamber of Commerce together, so we know each other for a long time. What brought you to make this decision to run for the elected official?
So I've participated in politics for a very long time all throughout the Silicon Valley area, and in particular with the city of Santa Clara. And in the last few years, the city council has devolved dramatically, and they've created a kind of chaotic scenario going on. And I felt obligated to put myself in that position to run for city council.
So what you can do to change that?
Well, I would like to utilize my experience and my relationships and my hard work, my ethics to change the perspective of the city council. The city council now is a laughingstock all throughout the Silicon Valley area, and we really need somebody to step in and show that we can be more dignified, that we could be more ethical, and that we could be more transparent. And so I'm hoping to win that seat to be able to do that for the city of Santa Clara.
Talking about the experience, you played many roles as a teacher and also as a business owner and also martial art.
Yes.
Right. So what are those experiences benefit from what you're doing right now?
Yeah, so as a business owner, I used to own my own martial arts and promotion company. I ran an after-school program for young kids. I learned what it was like to develop a small business, to all of the struggles that small business owners have to go through. Soon after that, I was recruited by a construction company, and I quickly learned what it was like to deal with a multi-million-dollar business. Still a small business, but I have to deal with multi-million-dollar contracts and issues, and deal with the city as a construction executive, with developers as well. So that experience of having a better understanding of what small businesses go through, plus my participation with local city governments, has really given me a good foundation to understand, how to work with cities and how cities function.
I heard that somebody concerned about your experience as a elected official and seeing that running a city is very different than running a business. So what's your reaction?
Yes, well, I've always been involved in politics for almost my whole adult life, and I participated through a variety of organizations, mostly through chambers of commerce. For example, the Santa Cruz Chamber of Commerce, I was a part of their government affairs. Scotts Valley Chamber of Commerce, I was the chair of the Economic Development Committee for them, and I was able to help with economic development for the Santa Cruz Mountains area. I was on the Santa Clara Political Action Committee, and that's when, that was about almost 10 years ago, and that was when I started getting deeply involved with the city of Santa Clara. I was chairman of the board of the Sunnyvale Political Action Committee. I was on the board of trustees for the San Jose Political Action Committee and the Silicon Valley BizPac. So I've participated in politics for many years through a variety of organizations, and I got to experience all of these different types of cities and understand the best practices with these cities. So I believe I bring more experience to the city council seat than almost anybody that is currently there.
I like your confidence. You mentioned so many roles you played. So what role you enjoy most and why?
I love them all. It's really difficult to say which one I love the best. I would say teaching is where I get my most satisfaction, and workforce development. I partnered with the Santa Clara Unified School District and the Chamber of Commerce, which I was the chairman of, but I had to step aside due to me running for a city council seat, but we were able to help create a workforce development program, and we help train young adults and transitioning adults into a new profession, and we help them find jobs. So, that is probably one of the most rewarding things that I do, after school programs for kids. And now I want to bring all of that dedication that I have and experience to City Council and help this city become more dignified and more respected throughout the Silicon Valley area.
Okay, so there are so many issues in our city, and what's your priority?
Well, priority number one is balancing the budget. Santa Clara is in a very unique position where we have more development coming into this area than almost any other city anywhere near us. We are the envy of all of the cities. We have about $40 billion worth of projects coming to us. So they're beautiful projects. In particular, the Related project is a gorgeous project, which is really going to transform all of Santa Clara and help make Santa Clara a destination spot. We currently don't have a downtown. We're striving to make sure that happens. Related is considered the uptown. And then we also have El Camino Real, which is going to be redeveloped. And I like to consider that somewhat as a midtown. And so with all these projects in the pipeline coming through, there's a lot of transformation that is going to happen that's going to stimulate our economy and help make Santa Clara a destination spot. So with my experience in economic development and my experience in construction and also my experience in politics, I think that I am the most qualified to bring all of those pieces together and really advance Santa Clara to that next stage in its history.
So what do you see Santa Clara, the city, after 5 years or even 10 or 20 years, what kind of city or what kind of environment you or your next generation should live in?
I envision Santa Clara as being the most lively place to go to in all of Silicon Valley. In many other cities like Palo Alto and Mountain View and Sunnyvale, they're beautiful cities and they have great downtowns and great places to go to, but they're pretty much set in their ways. Santa Clara is evolving, and it's evolving rapidly, especially with these projects coming in. So it's going to go through a major transformation, and I think it's going to be very attractive and very enticing for visitors outside the area. So we need some leadership that's going to bring us to that next stage where we have all of the infrastructure ready for people to come into our city, stay at our hotels, eat at our restaurants, and go to exciting venues, such as the stadium, such as the convention center, and a lot of the other things that are planned in the pipeline. Have them come in and enjoy that and spend their money in our city.
Recently, I see so many negative campaigns against you. People probably learn your name from those negative campaigns. But you are running your campaign pretty grassroots, right? So how do you see that, and what do you do for your campaign?
Yes. I have a lot of forces against me, very large forces with a lot of money that are promoting propaganda that is basically untrue. Says I'm a lobbyist, says I do backroom political deals. Anybody that knows me knows that I've never done anything like that. I'm not a lobbyist. I am just a concerned citizen that enjoys participating with politics, and so I utilized my relationships and connections to raise as much money as I can to fight these large forces going against me. And so, I have a lot of support of the small businesses and residents in this area that want to see change in City Council. They want to see it be more dignified and respected amongst the city, and they want order. This current City Council has created a lot of chaos. It seems to be very destructive. I want to be more constructive. This current City Council fired the city manager without anybody to replace her. Fine, you're going to fire the city manager, but what was your plan B? What was going to happen next? There was no plan, and so the position left vacant for quite some time. And now we're paying the severance package for this, for our city manager. And we're also paying for a new city, so we're paying more than double what we were paying before. Similarly, with the city attorney, the current city council fires the city attorney without any body to replace him or any plan. So that seat also, that position also was left vacant for a long period of time. So when they finally filled it with a firm, we residents found out that we're actually paying 3 times as much as we used to pay our prior city attorney. So residents and people that are paying attention to Santa Clara politics are wondering, why is this city council so destructive? Why are they causing so much chaos? And we all have our own theories about it. None of that is important. What's important right now is that we get somebody in this position to bring order to that chaos. And with all of my experience, with all of my relationships, I think I'm the perfect person to do so.
Thank you. Thank you for willing to, serve our community, because this is a tough job. Actually, why we're doing this interview is because, if you search Christian Pellecchia recently, it's all the negative news and all the, negative campaigns. But we really want to bring out who he really is. And I know him for so many years. You are one of the most hardworking person I know. You put your time, weekends or even evenings, and do lots of volunteer works. So tell us your background and your family.
My background, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I grew up relatively poor in New York City, in a studio apartment with a dad and a sister. I pretty much made my own success by pulling myself up from my own bootstraps, as they say. I worked really hard to get to where I am today, and that's why I have a lot of respect for people that that have to work as hard to just make it in an area like this that's so expensive to live in. I was a high school biology teacher, and in the course of teaching, I decided I wanted to teach college. I have several degrees, so I wanted to pursue my philosophy degree. And so I decided to move to California, and I went to San Jose State to get my master's in philosophy. By the time I had graduated, I was recruited by this construction company, and it was the first time I was offered, a very high amount of salary. And I thought, what, might as well give it a try. See if this is right for me. And I absolutely fell in love with it. My position as vice president, I have to network with a lot of people in the area. I have to pay attention to politics, because politics is very interconnected with development and construction activities, and they also allowed me to teach on the side and join a lot of nonprofits. So I love giving back to the community. So it was the ideal job. It was a job that allowed me to do all the things that I love to do: to teach, to give back to the community, and to help build cities. So it was a long road to get to where I am and now, and I'm very appreciative of everything that I have, and I understand the struggles, especially people living in Silicon Valley, one of the most expensive places to live in the world, and I think I have a lot of knowledge and experience to help people in similar situations.
Wonderful, wonderful. It's really the story of many of us, especially for the ethnic groups and immigrants coming to this country and pursue our dreams. But running for a city council is really, I would say, it's a different job. Yes, for Santa Clara. So, what do you like most about this city?
Well, so the story goes that my company was expanding, and they asked me to find an office somewhere in the Bay Area. And they preferred the South Bay. And so I had 13 cities to choose from. Silicon Valley is made up of 13 cities, and I did my research. And what I loved most about Santa Clara is its potential, that it was evolving, that it was changing, that it's not set in its ways. And we're in the innovation capital of the world, and a city that matches that is is just ideal. And so I love that potential, and I love the opportunity that it brings. So I wanted to be a part of all of that. So I chose to move my office to Santa Clara, and I quickly became involved with all of these nonprofits, in particular the Chamber of Commerce, Mission City Community Fund, Santa Clara Police Athletic League, just to name a few. And that got me more entrenched. And then the next thing I did was move to Santa Clara and also start this teaching program, this workforce development program at the Santa Clara Adult School. So after almost a decade of participating in Santa Clara, I now live in Santa Clara, I work in Santa Clara, I teach in Santa Clara, and I volunteer in Santa Clara. I just absolutely fell in love with this city, and I just can't sit back and watch these chaotic situations occurring with the current city council. So that's why I decided, it's time for me to use my knowledge and experience for an elected position.
Thank you. Actually, Santa Clara is a city of what's possible and the mission city, and we are the city of the innovation center. There were so many high-tech companies and so many big companies, like what you said, and many constructions going on. But our small business community are still suffering. As a business owner, what do you think that our city can do better, or what do you think if you become a city council can do to our ethnic small business community?
Yeah, well, so first we have to make it a little bit more attractive. The current city council put out a headcount tax. I implore the voters of Santa Clara to vote against it. This is not a time to be adding taxes to our small businesses. A headcount tax is the worst tax for business. So the first thing that I would do is try to figure out ways to lower taxes and lower fees for small businesses seeking to invest or to grow in Santa Clara. With all of these developments, we have a couple of million square feet of space available for small businesses and retail. And so we have to make sure that we keep those spaces attractive from people from the outside to come in and invest in our city, to want to do business in our city. And so also making Santa Clara a destination spot will help bring outside money into those small businesses, helping them to grow. One last thing that I would really like to focus on, I spend a lot of time in the permit center. So when a business wants to, when an entity wants to start a business in the city of Santa Clara, one of the places they have to go to is the permit center, and they can find that it could be very costly and very time consuming and almost inhibits you even starting a business. If it takes you a year to get a permit, that's a year that you're not making money. And if it's too costly for a small business, then it's not going to be worth it to move to Santa Clara. So our permit center is antiquated. It's old and outdated. And and that's a shame, especially if we're in the middle of Silicon Valley, the land of innovation, of what the future is going to bring. And so I have a lot of experience and knowledge of that our permit center, and I think that keeping taxes low, keeping fees low, figuring out ways to move some of that revenue around. And revitalizing the permit center, updating it, I think will really help small businesses come to Santa Clara and invest in our city.
Okay, so last question. Just tell the voters why they should vote for you in 1 minute.
In 1 minute. So I was a small business owner. I'm a small business executive now. I have a lot of experience balancing multi-million-dollar budgets, dealing with multi-million-dollar contracts. All of my experiences as chairman of the boards of multiple nonprofits and chambers of commerce also had to balance their budgets, and especially during the pandemic when revenues went down and they needed to survive. So I have a plethora of experience of participating in government and managing very large budgets. And so I have what it takes. I have the knowledge and the experience to do this for the city of Santa Clara.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Christian. Good luck.
Thank you.